before the Europeans came, we had our own slave trade here. But
in Africa?
Exactly.
Wow.
More like domestic slavery, servitude. So more like we had the stronger kingdom. When they go for war, they capture the ones, they bring them. They let them work in their farms, agriculture, fishing, hunting and all that.
We just arrived the Osu Castle. Over here, we're going to go inside to show you guys the history behind this castle over here. So if you want to know that, keep watching, because we're waiting for a tour guide to come take us around. Osu Castle over here. And today this is our tour guide. What's the name, man?
Comfort.
Comfort?
Yes.
What's your Ghana name?
Kwa.
Kwa.
Yes, Kwa.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Kwa over here. So we're gonna give you guys a tour of Osu Castle. If you want to see that, keep watching this video. Don't click away. As you can see, there are so many students inside here. Look how this place looks like. Look how this place looks like. Before we go inside, I want to kindly show you how this place looks like. Look, this is how you preserve your history and your culture. So as you can see, the students who are going to carry on this history for the next generation, they're everywhere being educated.
As I said, its other name is Osu Castle. That's because it's found in Osu rather than Christiansburg. We hear Osu Castle. So the castle was originally built by the Danes, that's people of Denmark, in 1661. So in order for them to have access here, they came here in 1659, purchased the land from the king of Osu, called King Okangwe, for 3,200 gold florins. So 1661 they occupied here. It was just a small fort they built, and they named the place Fort Christiansburg after the arcane king Christian IV of Denmark. Everything you see here wasn't built at once. As in when they made additional attachments, as in when the additions were made, years were attached to them. So that is how come you hear me saying 1661, but the entrance we have a different date there, which is 1790. So we have different years also attached to them. The meaning of Christiansburg is Christian stone. Some will say Christian fortress. Let me give you a little throwback. Before the Danes were here, we had people using this plot of land before they came. First, the Portuguese were here, and then in 1652, the Swedish were also here. They built an earthen lodge, more like a wooden structure where they were keeping their goods in there. Then 1659, the Danes came, purchased the land, making it legal. Then they used stones in building. So theirs was durable as compared to the others. When they occupied here 1661, they were just trading in gold and ivory. Later part in the 17th century, there was the influx of sugarcane plantations in the Caribbean. So that was when the slave trade started. They needed manpower to go and work in the sugarcane plantations. So they were here until 1679. We also had different people also occupying here. The Portuguese were back here again, where they added a chapel. We also had Ghanaians occupying here. We call them the Akwamu people. They are from the Eastern Party in Ghana. They also defeated the Danes and held the fort for a whole year, 1693 to 1694. British were also here in 1850 after the Danes sold it to them. So they moved their headquarters from Cape Coast, settled here. Here became the headquarters for the British in 1877. They were here ruling us until Ghana gained independence 1957. We also maintained here as a seat of government. So we had all our past presidents here until 2013, when here ceased to be the seat of government. So when we enter, we have different things to see. The main courtyard where we are standing, this is where the slave market was taking place. There are a number of dungeons as well. We have 12 of them here. So all the rooms right from here to the staircase there, they're all dungeons. We also have Rawlings' office. He was our longest serving president and the only Ghanaian president to have used the old castle as his office. All the other Ghanaian presidents that were here administrated from the new castle. So the black gates here, one shout out of there, that's the new castle, added by our very first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, after we attained our independence. There's also the chapel the Portuguese added. We also have the Queen's Room here. So a year after we attained Republican states, in 1961, Queen Elizabeth, who is late now, was here. So she came over to hand over everything to our very first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. So we have the room she slept in. So when we are done with the inside, there's a staircase that will take us outside, leading to the door of no return. We mostly term it as door of no return, because it will be the last exit from the castle and then the African soil as well. So as I said, everything wasn't built at once. We have 1797 here. The C7 is standing for King Christian VII of Denmark. So the first one I told you was named after King Christian IV. By 1790s going, there was King Christian VII. That is how come the Danes named here. We have MCMXII, that's 1912, added by the British. Then there's 1921, 1950 also here, all added by the British. The oldest part of the castle is the dungeons we have over here. So So that was added by the Danes, and the top part added by the British, and then the chapel by the Portuguese when they occupied here. So each and every slave merchant had their own symbol, which is a metal. The metal will be put in hot fire, placed against the slave skin.
My God.
This is done for easy identification, more like a tattoo. As a slave, you enter here, you've lost your identity, you don't want to know you by your name, so they had to branch them. So after the inspection, the branding, different commodities were also in display here. So from West Africa came the minerals like the gold, ivory. Denmark came more refined goods like the textiles, gun and gunpowder, schnapp, mirror. The humans also were exchanged for commodities.
Sorry, I'll just ask. The humans were in exchange for these commodities,
yes,
by the Ghanaian people.
So more like our own people were also involved. Let me give you a little throwback before we continue. Before the Europeans came, we had our own slave trade here.
In Africa?
Exactly.
Wow.
More like domestic slavery, servitude. So more like we had the stronger kingdom. When they go for war, they capture the ones, they bring them. They let them work in their farms, agriculture, fishing, hunting and all that. So probably you can be given a number of years, 2 years, to pay off your debt. Later on, slavery in Africa wasn't chattel, more like a property. As a slave, you can free yourself. You can become a free slave.
By
you
working?
can marry, yes. You can marry into the royal family. Some even gain positions as well. But as the European form of slavery was different. Yes, when you are a slave, automatically your generation is also a slave. More like inheritance. If you are pregnant, you give birth, your child will also continue. So here, when they came, we were having intertribal wars and all that. So the major source of slavery we have from war captives. About 31% we get it from war captives. And then we also have pawning. For example, I'm owing you, I'm not able to pay. I use a human being as a collateral. So when the number of years you gave me, I'm not able to pay off, meaning you can sell the person off. We also have raiding. People enter into people's homes and then capture the slaves as well. And then the minor source of slavery, you get it from more like gifts. People can use a human being, just dash you. And then convicts were also used, sold off.
And this was for blacks. This is what blacks used to do.
Yeah. Our people were also involved. So I differentiated between the European type of slavery and then the African way as well. So ours was more like servitude, but they tried to justify that we had our own slave trade here before they came.
That's what the Danes and the British tried to justify.
Yes, the Europeans.
So they are not as bad as that. We were already killing ourselves and doing all this rubbish to ourselves. Oh, that's crazy.
All right. So since they're already there, let's continue. Later on, we'll visit the dungeon.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so this is a water system, more like a reservoir, a storage. So this one was constructed by a Danish governor, Paul. That's his name down there. So he was the Danish governor from 1752 to 1757. During his time, this was constructed in 1753. This is written in an old Danish language, showing you when and how it was constructed. So this is mainly to collect rainwater for their domestic purposes. Aside him being a governor, he was also a doctor, so he was interested in how the slaves took the water. He married a Ghanaian. That is how come we still have names like Eggman in our society to date.
This write-off, has it been here since that?
Yes. So sometimes when we just So sometimes when it wears off, we just deepen it. Yeah.
Okay.
Down with the top, then we can move down.
Oh, right, mom.
So whilst the British were here, they served as a staircase for their governors. Later it became the seat of government for our Ghanaian president. So here became the presidential staircase. So middle one mainly for our president to use only, and then other dignitaries as well. Other presidents from different countries were also allowed to use here when they come here to see our president. We use the side ones. So earlier this year, around April, we had the Italian president here. When he visited, this was open for him to use as well. So we use the side ones. When you take a look at our 50 Ghana cedi note, you see the staircase right here, and then the front view of the castle. So 50 cedis used to be our highest money by then, and this was a seat of government. Now we have our highest money being 200 Ghana cedi notes. We find the Jubilee House, which is the current seat of government, on the 200 Ghana cedi notes as well. So let's talk about the Ghana coat of arms we have there. That's the emblem of the nation, the badge.
Yeah.
So this was designed by a Ghanaian man called Côte after we attained our independence. The eagles are known to be protecting the nation. the cross staff representing our local administration here. We have the castle representing our national administration. Then we have the vegetation, agricultural resources. The mine shaft is mineral resources. The line in the middle means Ghana is still part of Commonwealth of Nations. Our motto, freedom and justice. The black star is the hope of Africa. So we were the first sub-Saharan West African country to have gained our independence in 1957. So that's a hope for other African countries as well. So Nigeria 1960, and the others onwards as well.
Yours was 1957.
Yes. And then 1960 we attained Republican states.
I thought Liberia was first.
No, sub-Saharan.
Sub-Saharan.
Yeah. Okay. Can we continue to the top?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
All right, guys. Let me know what you think about this history. As in, I love listening to histories of Africa and beyond. You can see from here. You can see some kids are actually here learning more and more and more about their history. So let's continue, and kindly leave a comment in the comment section what you think about this place. All right.
So, but as I said earlier, they served as the official residence for our presidents while they were here.
Yeah.
So while they were here, they served as the accommodation, the building at the top.
Wow. And this used to be the accommodation, which means the president used to walk from here into the house over there. These things are built to last.
Yeah.
Built to last.
So as I said earlier, though the days built here, the castle changed two hands. The days were here, later on the Portuguese also took over in 1679. So they had access here when the Danish governor Johan Ulrich got killed by his assistant Pedapult. The assistant then sold the place to the Portuguese for 36 pounds of gold. They came, raised the walls higher, then added the chapel. We have the chapel on top of one of the dungeons, whilst the prayer stakes are kept down there. When the Portuguese took over, they changed the name from Christiansborg to St. Francis Xavier Castle. The chapel also buried the same name. They were here briefly, 1679 to 1683. By then they ran out of money, they had less goods in the storage room as well. So 1683, they left here. That was when the Danes came to compensate them, they evacuated from here. The Danes then mortgaged the place from 1683 to the British and then redeemed it in 1689. They resumed their trading activities after taking over. Then they were here until 1693. So I said we had Ghanaians also occupying here, the Akomu people. That's a picture of Asemeni from Akomu. He became the first black governor of Christiansburg. So the Akomus occupied the eastern part here. Back in the day, they were the warlords of this coastal areas. Very powerful people. They also wanted to take part in the castle, the military as well. So he was sent here more like a spy working for the Danes as a cook. Studied them for a while, gathered enough information. He then left to his town, came back with 80 military men, who then came in disguise as traders, come and purchase guns from the Danes.
Okay.
The castle, the chapel we have there also, that was where our last president who lived in the castle at Amos, that was where he was fellowshipping. That is how come we have some drums here as well. The safe you see here, that was what the Europeans were using. We are not sure what they were keeping in there. It also served as a place where they officiated the marriages between the white people and then the African people as well. So their offsprings, which we mostly term as mulattoes, that was also served as a school for them. You've heard about the Presbyterian Church.
Yeah.
So this was where Ghana once started. So 1828, Basel missionaries came from Switzerland to come and Christianize us here. Unfortunately, first 4 missionaries came, they all died of malaria within the 3 years they were here. Other batches were sent, 3 of them, 2 died again, leaving 1 person. He started looking for a more suitable place where he could start up. He ended up in the mountainous areas here, that's in the eastern part here. So when you go to Mampong, you go to those areas, there are a lot of Presbyterian schools and churches over there. So that was where he started up as well.
Mado.
So this is the Queen's Room. We gained our independence 6th of March 1957.
Yeah.
Became a Republican country 1st of July 1960. So that was when we became totally free from the British. So Queen Elizabeth II, who is late now, was supposed to come in 1960, hand over authority to our very first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And she couldn't come that very year. She was here in 1961. This was a very room she used to while she was here. Some things have been changed, just like the bed sheets and then the towels as well, but the bed, the wardrobe is since 1961 as well. So the room used to be bigger than this, but part of it has been used as a maritime office we have over there. 1977, we had King Charles also here, back in the day in Prince Charles. So we have a school here called Achimota Senior High School, which was built by the British governor, Sir Gordon Gorgesby. So during 850th anniversary, that was when King Charles also came here. So according to history of the castle, we have only the two of them occupying here, mother and son. Not even our presidents have been used here as well. Wow. Then we have the balcony here also. So.
Can I sit on the bed? I sit on the bed.
Probably you can just have height.
Oh, this is a bug. You say you can sit on it and come up. So guys, the queen used to sit here. She used to sleep here when during those days, but according to her, something has been changed. Like the bed sheets, the towels, but this still remains the same since 1961 to date. So let's continue the tour. Wow.
Okay, so a quick one.
Okay.
Whilst the governors were here, you see them lining up here. They were sleeping with the female slaves here as well. So they line them up. Yes, the courtyard. Make their selection, then they use the rainwater to pack them, take them to their chambers to have their way with them. That is how come we had mulattoes here. Some married some were just sex toys that had their children. So as I said, the chapel also served as a school for the mulatto kids. So that was where they started a school there for the mulatto kids to start attending.
The mulattoes, where are they now?
So they are still among us, but now we don't go around saying mulatto. It's more like an insult. Sometimes you wouldn't know the person is a mulatto because now the person can be very dark.
They've mixed with.
Exactly. So unless they tell you their name before you know this person is a mulatto. So let's head to West.
Wow. So guys, the governors that year, they stay here, they pick. Come on. Freedom is sweet. Thank God for freedom. Rawlings. Okay.
Okay, so as I said earlier, everything wasn't built at once. In 1921, this office was added during the British governor's time, Governor Gorgesby. So he first used here in 1921. 1981, we had a very own Ghanaian president, Flight Lieutenant Rawlings, deciding to use it for security reasons. So security reasons being that he came to power through a military coup d'etat in 1981. He overthrew a civilian ruler called Leone, so he had to be cautious about it. So he decided to use this office as his office. So whilst he was here, he could see all the way through the first gate. That is why he chose to use here. He was the only Ghanaian president to have used the old castle as his office. All the other Ghanaian presidents, though they lived here, they administrated from the new castle. So one shot of the black gate here, that's a new castle added by our very first president, Dr. Kwame.
That new castle, this is being used by the current president.
Wow, this is a very good spot. You can see the entire places here for security, and behind you is the water. So wow, okay.
So Rawlings was our longest serving president, 19 years in total, 11 years military, 8 years as a civilian ruler. So 1981 to 1992, he stepped down from military ruling, where he founded the NDC party we still have in existence now. Then he was voted into power 7-8 years. So from 1992 to 2000, so 11 years military, 8 years as a civilian ruler. Throughout the 19 years, this was the office he decided to use. He was also a mulatto, half Scottish, half Ghanaian, man Ghanaian from the Volta region, and then that Scottish as well. He was also a pilot in the Air Force as a military man. So in the garden, we have cemented portions over here, which is serving as a helipad, a spot for helicopter. So when there is danger, you can quickly leave here to see. So the garden we have there used to be, you are Nigerians, all Nigerians. You're familiar with the word Osu.
Yes.
What does it mean to?
Outcast.
Yes, outcast. So
Also is Igbo now.
yeah, exactly.
Is it the same? Does it mean the same thing here?
Yeah.
So that street is just two streets. Oh, it means the same thing. Yeah.
Oh, this is another one, maybe. So the garden we have there is a beautiful garden, but it comes with a sad history.
Okay.
So it used to be the home of the locals here, which refer to them as Osu Alata people. So we believe they migrated from Nigeria to settle here. So that they had their home here. When you go to Nigeria, as I said, Osu means outcast. We Ghanaians here refer to Nigerians as Alata. So that is how come they came about the name Osu Alata. Ghana people in general are believed to have migrated from Nigeria to be here. You know, you're in Greater Accra.
Yes.
So here, Ghana people inhabit this place.
Yes.
So that's the belief. So they were there, they had their homes there before their king decided to sell parts to the Danes to build their castle. Danes were here, local people were also there. 1803, Denmark, they were the first country to have abolished slavery. So they then went into plantation, a part of the garden. So they were the first country, as I said. They started a plantation of tamarind, a part of the garden. We still have 2 of the trees in existence there. So not only here, different places as well, so Salem, Lego Botanical Gardens, and different places also. But around 1814, they lost Norway to Sweden. By then, Norway was under them. And then, so this brought them financial crisis and all that. They had less goods in the storage room also. So they then decided to sell the place to the British for £10,000. So that was when the British moved in here in 1850. While the British were also occupied here, they also introduced taxes for the locals here and then 8 environs to pay, which is 1 shilling per person. The people didn't understand why a stranger would come into their own home and then start demanding taxes from them. It brought confusion since they refused to pay. Then the British decided to bombard these people's homes, destroy them, then this moved them further away from the garden we have over there. So after the British expelled them, they made the garden we have over there. You know, a shrine. There's a shrine in the garden, the far end, which belongs to the locals here, those Walata. So they're allowed to come here every year. They have a festival they celebrate, which is called Homowa Festival. So they come here to pay homage to the ancestors by pouring libation and everything, perform rituals, since this was the original home before the British expelled them from here. So whether a president used Libya or not, they're still allowed entry. The shrine is still in use up to date. The very first tree that was planted there was a neem tree. The neem tree is originally from India, Dogoyaro. And you can find it across most African countries. More like an immune booster for us here. We use it to cure many illnesses like malaria, common cold, fever. During COVID, most people also use this in their homes as well. When you take a walk through the garden, get to the left-hand side, there's a car parked there. JJ, whilst he was here, that was the car he was using whilst he was here. So when you walk through, you see the car as well. Jerry John Rawlings, the man that we went to his office.
Oh, yeah.
And then the green boundary there in the garden, archaeological works go on there, more like a seasonal something. So they dig out past artifacts as well. So now let's head to the door of no return.
Alright. It's very narrow. but the structure is still strong.
Okay, so this is not the door of no return. We'll go there shortly. This is the Richter Tunnel. There was a Danish slave merchant by name Richter. He built his home about 600 meters away from here, closer to the castle. He had dungeons in his home where he kept slaves in there. Then equally built an underground tunnel that will link his home to the castle here. So that when the ships are ready, he can equally march them from his home through the tunnel, ship them off through the door of no return. An earthquake happened in 1862, which affected most part of the castle, including Richter's home. But the dungeons are still intact. He also has his tenant here. So when you go, you talk to them, be allowed to have a look at the place as well. And then after the earthquake, here had to be renovated. Back in the day, it was supposed to take him to his home and park, but now it's blocked also. So let's head to the door of no return.
Okay. Wow.
So this is the door of no return.
This?
Yes. So the staircase we use is made in a spiral form so they can count the number of slaves coming down, one after the other. So the same way we came was the exact same way the slaves were coming. just that they were in chains and shackles. So one shout out of here, as I said earlier, to be the last time you be in touch with the castle and then the African soil. So smaller ships will be in front, the boat, then they carry them to the bigger ships in the middle passage there. When they get there, they have people inspecting the slave ships. That's because some slave owners overload. For example, you're supposed to take 300 from here, it took more than that. It took about 500 people. After they're counting the excess, there's no way they'll bring them back here. They'll dump them into the sea alive. So they do that, they overload because more slaves you take, they will determine the amount of money you be getting. So they pay you according to the slaves you take them. So as I said earlier, the slaves were not only Ghanaians, they're from different African countries as well. So most of them were from the inland where they've not come across sea before. So definitely they can't swim. So they can't make their way back here. There was a case called the Zong Massacre, where a British ship called Zong was leaving Ghana 1781, taking the slaves from Ghana to Jamaica. Along the way, there was shortage of water, so the crew members decided that in order for themselves and then the rest of the slaves to survive, they decided to dump more than 130 slaves alive into the sea. Upon reaching Jamaica, they went claiming for cargo insurance. So it's part of business. They wanted the people to pay them for the slaves that they had dumped, in addition to the ones that reached there. Since the people refused, they took them to court, which they lost the case in 1783. So this raised abolitionist concerns and made people aware of the transatlantic slave trade as well. 1619 was when the first slave ship left Africa to America. So 1619 to 2019, that marked 400 years. I don't know if you've heard about the year of return. Yes. In 2019, the Ghana government made it possible for the black Americans, the diasporans, wherever they are, they should return home to Africa, especially Ghana. So for them to be able to feel parts of us as well, have businesses here and all that. Since some people, they don't know where they're coming from, they're still tracing their roots as well. 2019, they were able to return home, come and then have their time here as well. A lot of them came here before COVID happened as well. 2020, there was a similar thing called Beyond the Year of Return, where this will be held every decade as well. So probably in 2030, there will be another one also. So there's also the Emancipation Day, which was generally celebrated in the Caribbean to mark the end of the chattel slavery in the British colonies in 1834. Ghana was the first and only African country to have joined in the celebration in 1998 to reaffirm that the black Americans can return to Africa now. So since they were allowed to return, we have some remains of some people, Jamaica and the US. They are now brought back, 3 remains. They are now buried at, in the central part, Asimansu, when you go there. Since they were brought back now, the door of no return is known as the door of return across all castles here in Ghana.
This door now?
Yes.
Door of return?
Yes. We can go back now.
Okay.
Then they were brought back home to be buried also. So now it's known as door of return.
Okay.
So this is the end of the tour. Thank you very much. So you can still hang around, take the pictures, the garden as well, and then go back.
This seems very new. This is the beach front. All right, guys. Let's check out the park. Actually, according to what the tour guide said, the villagers used to live here, while the colonial masters live on this castle. So when they refused to pay tax, because they were asking how can they pay tax in their own land, so they were chased away from here. Then this place was now turned to a garden by the colonial masters. Then, but every once in a year, they were being given the chance to come in here to do their sacrifices, to, you know, appease their ancestors and pray to their ancestors. Because most of these trees, they have been here for centuries. You can see how the houses look. So let's check it out. Okay, this is the motor that Lawrence, you see over here, his car is over here. That's Lawrence's car. Let me show you guys before we step out. This is the car that Lawrence used. Man.
The guy has 3 ways of exit: land, sea and air.
You know, this thing was there.
Yes, nah. If it happen like this, it take boats. If it happen, it enter
chopper.
Chopper. Then they move.
She come from sea, go enter land.
See, enter land, they move. Hey, enter sea.
A smart man. Smart guy.
Positioned well.
This is the new castle over here, where the presidents used to live. Over there. And again, guys, this is the end of this video. Let me know what you think about this video in the comment section below. What's your opinion about slavery and the whole history? Let me know in the comment section below. And I will see you guys in the next video.